Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Come along, it's all fun.
Good evening.
Hello, Donna.
On Samhain.
Samhain?
Samhain.
Happy Samhain. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Adrian. Sorry, Lord Snotula and
Detectula.
No.
I think Donna's Bucks Fizz. Someone from Bucks Fizz.
I think she looks like a chameleon. The karma
Dress up,
chameleon.
Karma chameleon.
Dress up, they said. It'll be fun.
I'm going to have some fun. I've got gin. I've got candles. What more could you want?
I do hope you get someone knock at your door tonight, Donna, who's broken down. They've broken down in their car, and they asked for you to use your phone or something.
Years ago, we've got quite a big yard in front of our house, and years ago we used to have the children out there, and we used to do apple bobbing and all dressed up as everything, and literally kids have come to the gate and run away screaming. Trying to give them sweets, and they're running away.
Well, Adrian, just before you came on from backstage, Donna, the front doorbell went, and it was trick or treaters. So I went to the door with that mask and went, and there was 3 teenage girls that may have been walked away with pants, maybe a little bit of whittle in them.
I told you that I can't do it. I have to turn all the lights off.
Adrian's not allowed.
I like your pumpkin. Adrian has the smallest pumpkin. I mean, it's tinier than my tiny one. I've got a tiny knitted one, and
it's about the size of this one here, isn't it?
Well, it's back in 2017, I think. As a joke, I said I haven't got any sweets, but if you want a bath, you can have a bath, and it all went wrong because the previous
was it Tony Kaywood that came round?
Well, it could have. He was round that night. Do you know what he said? He said, if you want to get them to go away, do this. And do you know what he was doing? He was putting the sausage through the letterbox. I said, Tony, you can't do that. He said, it's fun.
My boy's delivering me trick or treat sweets. He actually went out. Come say hello.
Hi, Mason.
Hello.
He actually went out with a pillowcase and came back with a full pillowcase.
Jesus.
Fantastic.
This is why we have kids for sweets.
It was my best festival when I was a kid. My dad worked on the RAF or USAF base at Lakenheath, and we used to get to go trick or treating on the base. And not only
what era was that, Donna?
The Stone Age. But
no. What age was that?
When I was probably about 12.
So about the 1990s then?
2004, something like that. But
was it like early 80s?
Early 80s. I can't comment on anything you say in terms of years because I've got a terrible memory for numbers.
No, but when you were 12, was it early 80s?
When I was 12, was it early 80s? I can't comment.
I'll speak to you off air. I've got a question for you.
Thank you. I'm not admitting to anything, but we used to do trick or treating on the base, and oh my God, the trouble that people went to. I mean, haunted houses, noises. You'd arrive at a house that was blacked out. There'd be creepy music playing. Things would jump out at you. But you came home with, honestly, a carrier bag full of American candy. And it was so exotic. Used to last me till Easter. It was awesome. Like for a 12-year-old, fantastic.
I've got to say hello to one of my friends in the chat, Steve Mera, friend of the show. And he's also parapsychologist, editor of Phenomena magazine, original editor. He owns the publication and does lots of other things paranormal wise now. And Steve, if you missed it just before you come on, Donna in her childhood used to live at RAF Lakenheath. And Steve, for the same question, will have the same questions as I do for you.
Oh. Steve O'Meara's YouTube channel. He's been on the show, hasn't he, Dave? And it's very interesting. And go over to his YouTube channel. It's really good. Sorry, I've got a bad cold.
Steve Meara Official, the YouTube channel.
Steve Meara Official.
Yes, and also have a look for Phenomena Magazine, which is a free online publication which comes out monthly, and it's also in at least Spanish as well. It's published in as well, so get on that. And I was the co-editor, sub-editor for the first 60 publications as well. There you go. So tonight, as you can see, we're in the world of the weird, and that's just Donna. We've asked some of you to get in contact with some tales, with images, all related to the hobby, all related to things that you've seen, you've witnessed. Even if it was a funny feeling when you've been out in the field, we all have them. I've had it myself where I've been in a field and thought I need to go to that tree there, went there and found something that was quite consequential. So we all have these peculiar things happen to us in the field. Somebody said to me something last week, which I am now going to test. Sadly, I've still got some of my old equipment from my days of paranormal investigation, and I'm going to be taking my EMF meter out with me for shits and giggles to have a look at what, if anything, the land tells us or the finds tell us, because I find that very interesting. So, are you okay, Adrian? Have you been out this week?
I went to Treasure Hunting Magazine offices on Monday, and we had a studio set up, and we're beginning to record all of Julian Evanhart's finds and put them on YouTube and Talk of Ticks and Facebook. So you'll see that coming soon. It's quite interesting. Jules is going through sections of his finds, from hammers to aircraft bits and everything, and explaining where he found them. Right up to in Jordan when he was detecting out there. But yeah, did that.
The one who is now called Katie Price?
No, the country. Yes, did that and working, and daughter's moving out tomorrow. She's bought a house, so helping out with that and things. But yeah, I haven't been out to detect
full
this
of
week.
flu.
I am absolutely, yes, Bob Fleming.
Is it normal flu or is it man flu?
I think it's a cross between rabies and yellow fever.
So man flu. Have you booked the ambulance? Are you heading off shortly?
Daughter's paramedic. She'll sort me out. So before I forget, Jay, I've forgotten his real name. He emailed me this week and thanked us for the show last week because he said it was really good. And he's got a Golden Mask 6 machine, and he's looking forward to my review in this month's Treasure Hunting with a man on the front that we might recognise. It's not out yet. It'll be out very, very shortly.
It was a great show. Can I just say, I have still got my Golden Mask. I know I bang on about it, but from how you're describing the Golden Mask that you tested, they're still performing in the modern age pretty much the same as the original 3+. Which was phenomenally deep. It was so heavy. I mean, it's got a metal shaft. Got it in. It's got a metal shaft. And all the blokes used to say to me, "How on earth do you do it? How do you detect with that? Because it's so heavy." But the depth. I had a Raymond Nummus at 18 inches. No kidding.
Yeah. Well, Jay also sent me some tips on the Golden Mask. I haven't got back to him, but he really enjoyed the show. And I don't know if he's watching it now, but he might have watched it at night or driving. Also, Up to No Good, he left us a message about Coke on the show last week. I said, I don't mind digging Coke. And he messaged us and said, why do you like digging Coke?
I don't know. Got to play it. It's an answer phone message. I'll play it.
Oh. Well, it only lasts like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but you have to play it.
You can play it. No, if you leave a message, we should play it.
Have I got to play Jim Painting?
Yeah.
Jim Painting left a message. Oh,
yes.
Right. I don't know. So present share screen. That one. Can you hear this?
No.
It always does that.
No, Adrian.
Nothing.
Okay. What about? Oh, shit in it. Don't swear, Adrian. I will do this.
Donna, you've been out detecting this week, haven't you?
Went out last Friday. No, not this week. I have been busy planting onions on the allotment this week and garlic. Yeah, I went out to my windmill permission, my windmill field, and I was testing. Well, it's the first time I've been out with the Simplex, actually, just to give that a run to see what it was like. And then I just went out and did exactly the same piece of ground with the Deus too, and it's quite a lot of difference. But what I will say with regard to the Simplex, the reason that it is with me at the moment is I'm testing it for beginners or non-users to use as part of our archaeology group. So it's ideal for them because, you know, bit. Yeah, so I wouldn't use it for what I do, but then I've always been sport. I've always had really high-end detectors. I think it does spoil you a little bit. I like simple detectors, but I like high-end detectors, which is why I like the Legend, those two, Nox. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I pulled out a few nice things. I've got a couple of belt mounts, I think. And yeah, medieval this time. So it's a big field, and what's really interesting is just before I went off to Portugal, we did a little archaeological dig, just a training dig, and in the topsoil we got some Samian, and it was a nice big sherd of Samian. Now the tray disappeared. We had to go and hide because it was raining. When we came back, the tray was gone with the Samian in it, but I'm sure somebody just covered it up and accidentally took it home, but it was a big sherd of Samian and it was pretty fresh up. So their omens are thereabouts fairly close by. And it has been detected before, but I am pulling up big bits of stuff. So it's not been mashed. It's not been done like smashed. It's not been done to death. But yeah, I got a cut half on there last time I went out. I was pleased with that.
Well done.
I went out Saturday with me Cookie Collective crew. And the boy, we went on Mother Shane's permissions. We had a marvellous time. Had a can of cider each because it was the last time before Shane gets married on Monday that we were all out together.
Oh.
So, yes, there you go. So tonight is the penultimate night of Shane's premarital life.
Oh.
Last show.
But he's excited.
Dave?
Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have words and everything.
Present the voicemail. I think. Oh, right, here we go. So this is what we got left.
Nothing on screen. Oh, there we are.
She was talking about.
Start again. There you are.
Hello, Dave and Adrian. Hope you guys are well. It's just a quick question, really. I was listening to the show last week, and part of the conversation was talking about cork in the ground, and Adrian wasn't too keen on some machines that automatically discriminate it out, as he prefers to know the cork's there. I was wondering if we just go into a bit more details as to why he likes to know there's cork in the ground. Thanks.
Adrian, why do you prefer to know there's more coke in the ground?
Because it shows it's been an inhabited site and there's been a lot of people. Donna, is that correct?
There's two things. One, it can show that there has been activity on the site. So it could be burning in terms of marketplace. It could be settlement. The only thing you've got to be slightly careful about is steam ploughs. They did have steam engines on the field running steam ploughs. So if you get a lot of coke at a top and bottom end of a field, either side to side or top to bottom, it's probably where you had engines parked, but it does get pulled across a little bit. So, but if you get if it's really buzzy, I mean, I'd turn the sense down myself. I wouldn't listen to it chattering away. But It's the same as iron. You know, it's any sign of life. That's what we're looking for. I mean, if you hear Julian talking, he wants to be where the iron patches are. Most detectorists get that. Most detectorists understand that you want to be where it's lively, where the ground is lively. And with coke, if it's been used over a long period of time, there's been activity, then the ground is going to be just a lot hotter. But then it means you've got to listen a lot more carefully. And, you know, a lot of people don't give their machines or themselves a chance to learn them properly. And it does take, in my experience, I mean, I'm a slow learner in terms of that. I like to really pace myself, and I don't start to mess about with the machine till I've had it at least a year, and probably longer if I'm enjoying using it on the settings that I've got. But when you're thinking about actually pushing it forward a bit, you need to understand where you are and know the noises, you know, before you start to try and cope with more chattery ground. Was that a good answer?
One more voicemail from Jim Painting. Oh, dear.
And now we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Good evening, Dave and Adrian. It's Jim Painting here, Jim Painting. Just to let you know, I've been out 3 times with the prize that I won at the Rodney Cook No Frills, which was the Deus 2. And it is a fantastic machine. I am using the Skill School settings by Gary. Have a wonderful show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Painting, and glad you're enjoying it. And well done for doing it as well,
Jim. And you can't really beat Gary Blackwell, to be fair, in terms of training videos. Smashes it every time.
Unless you've got a Manticore.
Unless you've got Manticore, of course. I'm in with the Deus too, yeah.
Michael, I can't find it.
We're here tonight to talk about spooky things detecting, aren't we?
Yes.
Well, Dave started us off with the the weird stuff in the field. I mean, I don't know. Is it anyone chatting in the chat about strange experiences? They're not. Okay, so
only Quick Draw McStraw dressing up as Sid Perry.
Well, if anyone was watching the Big Detection Show channel, was it last week? You posted video that you did of the No Frills, and you went out dowsing, Dave.
Yes, I did. Now, I'm not a believer in dowsing. I've never been one for dowsing. However, there are a lot of people from days gone by, and I know a lot of older generation, my dad, my uncle, who have used it, not so much today. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to get a set of dowsing rods just to give it a go. And also, this weekend just gone, Shane took it away, and he was a bit shocked, I think, by something that he had a woohoo as well. But yeah, we had a little play. And Adrian, you saw it yourself. It kept on going over, and there was definitely something there. Probably a water pipe that ran through the site, but we definitely got crossed rods.
Well, I heard a long time ago people doused when they were out detecting. I do know a building historian, actually, is a guy called Matt Dowdy, if anyone remembers the original BBC House Detective series. I think he's passed now, but Mac used to douse for foundations. And when he was looking at old buildings, he said 98% when dug, exactly what he said was there. So exactly what the dowsing rod said was there. I've seen him out with them, and he was 100% correct. We were looking for tunnels. I was actually taught by my friend the Witch, and he gave me his dowsing rods and said, well, you know, there you go. And he said, just walk over there. And I just walked across his gardens, and he said, I don't need to teach you anything.
He just literally put his rod in your hand.
He put his rod, in my he wouldn't do that. He had some copper rods that he's had for a long time, and he has passed away, and I've asked if I can have them. But he let me use them, and they crossed powerfully at a certain point, and he said, you have this, you have this, you don't know this, but I know there's a cable goes under my garden at that point. So I mean, I have used dowsing rods before and found them effective. Especially we were looking for wells in people's gardens when we were doing archaeology, and they're really effective at that. But I wanted to test them out in the field. Now, anyone in the chat, you can believe this or not believe it. I've got my dowsing rods. They're in the cupboard, and they're special ones. They're on a swivel. So they're not just an L-shaped piece of copper. They're actually on a swivel. You hold the handles and the dowsing rods rotate independently inside. You can't influence them at all.
Same as mine.
I've got a field that is quite important to me that my hoard came off of. And believe it or not, I lost the hoard. I didn't lose it. It's because somebody's been hawking it. But I wasn't finding any coins. I was getting a bit frustrated. So I thought, you know what? Let's test this dowsing theory. So I took my dowsing rods. I stood at the field gate. I pointed my dowsing rods into the field, and I just asked them. And Mac always said, you know, ask them what it is you want to know, what you're looking for. You have to channel that. I'm looking for this. I am looking for this. So if you're looking for gold or silver, you're looking for gold and silver. So I said, show me where the gold or silver is. And I stood at the field gate. I closed my eyes, actually. And I just stood there with the dowsing rods. And when I opened my eyes, they were pointing in a certain direction. So I followed them. I followed that direction with them held out in front of me until they crossed. And when they crossed, I stopped. And I asked them, well, where to now? Where is the gold and silver now? And they went almost completely in a zigzag. And I thought, well, this is strange. So I pointed in the zigzag, like where they were. I put them down. I did lose them in the field at one point, but I got my detector out. And I started at the point that I was at, and I followed the line that they pointed to with my detector. First signal, silver denarius. Second signal, silver denarius. Third signal, because I was being clever, thinking, oh, I wonder if the tractor is bringing these down with the plough. Third signal, gold button. Not a solid gold.
It's dowsing rods are interesting because my granddad used to use them. He had quite a big garden and an orchard, and he wanted to look for a well, and he found one, and he made them out
when
of
he found
hazel.
it, did he go, well?
No, he went, great. But he made them out of witch hazel wood, and
Yes.
I think willow, and I think wood is better than metal.
as well.
You.
No, not me.
Because
You.
metal, you.
No, you.
To me.
To you.
Oh, I think wood is better because metal can naturally conduct electricity, whereas wood doesn't. So, yeah, and I don't know where they're gone. Actually, he died years ago, but I'm going to try it again because definitely at Rodney Cook, when Dave had those, we were going across that car park, and literally everyone who held them, they just went whoop, whoop, didn't they, Dave? Over there,
you did.
And it could be to do with them picking up foundations. It could be anything. I mean, I had a really weird day that day in the field because I started detecting up and down, like I said, I was following the plough line, and I started detecting up and down. And it's funny, I've been on that field, I don't know, the last 7 years, and I must spend 40 odd hours each end of the season on that field. So it's a long time. And I could see a tree out of the corner of my eye, and I knew there wasn't a tree in the middle of the field, but I could see it. And I thought, well, that's really strange. I must have, like, I've probably got something wrong. I've got something wrong with my peripheral vision. There's something going on. And when I turned around to come back the other way...
He's going for a wee.
He's going to go for a big cough. But when I came back to go the other way, I could still see the tree. And my sense is that the hoard is actually buried, or was buried, at the roots of a tree that isn't there any longer. That's what I think. So, I mean, I've never found the locus of the hoard. I've found fresh coins. I've found really battered coins, but not the locus. It's still there somewhere.
Well, Dean, who's your daddy, asks what the best metal is for using dowsing rods. Ange Sherwin uses brass. Mine are basically the exact old-fashioned car aerials. The exact same as here, it's just with a bloody bend in them, so they've got the swivel on them. Many people in the past used the old wire coat hangers, cut them off, and basically put them in a bit of thin piece of plastic tube, like an old Bic pen, so they could swivel. It's any really. It's what anyone prefers or what anybody can get hold of. It. I don't think necessarily there is a definitive answer to that.
Yeah, I think the old boys used copper.
Adrian's on mute.
He's got a nosebleed.
There he is.
Or it's just being Dracula. But the old boys used copper because of the better conductivity. Mine are brass on a swivel. They're posh ones, and you can still buy them. I don't know where they came from, but they're handmade. I think they came from Etsy or somewhere. Hazel ones, if you want to make your own hazel ones, you need to look for soft hazel that is more like a wishbone shape, and you're using the point. So where you have a stem that branches into two, you will want the point at this point where it branches into two, and then the two prongs, and you will be turning it, inverting it, and holding the two prongs, and then the pointy end will bend down, or it should pull down when you cross water.
That's what.
Well,
my
listen,
had.
I've got a plan here. Why don't our viewers, because there's quite a few in the chat at the moment saying they're going to try it. Why don't you go away and try it? And why don't we look at doing a show in the near future with somebody who does dowsing a lot or has used dowsing a lot in treasure hunting, and then we can,
that would be good.
Somebody, it's something different we haven't done before. We can speak to them and get a little bit more expertise point of view.
Well, I can tell you now that I know that it works from that point of view. So when I was in the club years ago, people were moaning their heads off about, I don't want people on my land because they're going to steal everything. And I said, you could have 50 people on your land and they're still not going to steal everything. And we did an experiment in a pub garden with permission of the pub, had 13 detectors out on a tiny pub garden. I'd chucked 10 nummus out and about 22 peas. And there was a case of beer for the person who brought back the most amount of money, and plus the Roman coins. I got 3 Roman coins back, more change than I had put out. Nobody was allowed to dig. But the guy who was dowsing, so 13 detectors and 1 guy dowsing, the guy who was dowsing came second.
Now that's interesting. Mr. West there.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Jack Hargreaves' old dowsing rods.
How did he get those?
Jack Hargreaves is that woohoo?
Yeah. No, that's the beard.
Yeah, it is.
And he's with a cart. He smoked a pipe.
He did.
I used to love it. I used to love watching that as a kid. Actually, someone's redone them on YouTube. All the episodes of Jack Hargreaves, and it is brilliant. He lived near you, didn't he, Donna?
I've got no idea.
Cambridge, Suffolk way he was.
I think he's Suffolk, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But
I don't think we've got anybody good come out of Cambridge.
Andy Kerridge. How? How? He was on How, along with Magpie. The people off Magpie were on it as well. Do you remember Magpie?
Yes.
Jack Hargreaves. No. He's the one I'm thinking of.
I'm not old enough. Sorry. No, sorry.
Well, he Carry On Films.
Carry On. What Carry On?
He was in the Carry On Films. Jack, someone. Well, he.
Oh yeah. No, that was someone else.
All
right. Sorry. Jesus.
I've actually got. Oh, what's his name? He was the funny little guy with the glasses.
Nick Berry.
No.
Oh. Sorry, Nick.
In Carry On.
Oh, Roger, Charles Hawtrey.
Yeah, I've got his autograph to my grandma.
Right,
Interesting
it's
character.
8:30. Let's move on.
Right,
from-
crack on. We've got loads to
Right,
talk
Got some
about.
pictures.
Yes.
Let's do the pictures a bit because there's an article on there's a lot of articles on the Big Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website that have gone in on this week regarding the peculiar side of the world. And this is one from one of our viewers. And this was made a couple of years ago by Ant Doyle. And can you see? All groovy there? You see that?
I like that. It's runic.
So this is, at the time, believed to be an occult or Mormon talisman, as you can see. And Ant went into great detail. There he is with it. Fantastic.
It's quite big, isn't it?
It's massive. This was found up in the northwest, Manchester way. Lots of nice pictures on there. But from the research that was done, it was actually found to be linked to Mormonism and alleged that the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith was famous with the works of Francis Barrett and had a Jupiter talisman. So this is actually a Jupiter talisman, which is a Mormon thing. So, yeah, pop on to ArchMD Mag and you'll actually be able to find that article. Very, 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 very interesting. Oh, no, sorry. He found that in Australia. No, he didn't. He was in Manchester. Yeah, Bury in Lancashire, he found that.
So why the language then? Why the hieroglyphs?
It's, as I say, it's a Jupiter talisman. Just have a Google of that and you'll see all the peculiarity of that. If it's protection, I can't remember, to be honest. But I just wanted to obviously point that out. As I say, hell of a lot of new articles on there this week. Beware the Whale of the Banshee. And some of these articles are actually taken from when I was sub-editor of Phenomena magazine, with the permission of one by myself there, Molly Lee. The ones of you who live in the Midlands may have heard of The Witch of Burslem in Stoke-on-Trent. And that's Molly Lee. Alistair Crowley article. From Ghost Hunter to Treasure Hunter, Metal Detecting and the Paranormal. And this one
Who's that by?
is about Aaron Weedle.
Oh.
He started off doing ghost hunting before metal detecting.
Did he really?
Much like myself. What about the Salem witch trials, Black Dogs, voodoo in New Orleans? What is Samhain? Halloween, what's it all about? Were the monsters in the Bible? The pentagram? There you go. Lots of.
Yeah, I read the one you had one up about Lugnaster.
Yeah.
That was very good. Some of the writing in there is incredible. I mean, I will be improving it, obviously, when I hop on board. The reviews will be massive.
When I finally sort my other passwords. So, yeah, lots of articles on there that you can go and have a look at in regards to that. And there's lots of other things, metal detecting related. There's lots of subsections.
And you can get an app to put it straight on your phone, so you don't have to search for it.
You can't. Not anymore.
Oh, mine came up.
Did it?
Yeah, it offered me an app, and I clicked install, and it's on there. Yeah. Shall I see if it links? Let me just see if it links.
Hold on.
I just did that before I came on the show.
It took me to a Tinder website. Tinder.
Your favourite website. I'm on. My app's working. I hate this. I don't know where the camera is.
I think it creates an app of the website, a shortcut. Yeah.
Right. That's good then.
Yeah.
If it makes an app, because
it offers you
an issue regarding the original apps that somebody ripped me off very, very much money.
Yeah. No, it actually it offers you. So if you go on just ArchMD Mag and just have a look, and it should offer you the app install, and then you can just hit the mag on your phone.
What about the witch hunt in Essex?
Which one? Which witch hunt? There's the books about the Essex Witch Museum, which is fictional, And there's obviously lots of we spoke about this a while ago, didn't we, Adrian? The amount of witches in that area.
There's more
information. Are you talking
This...
about Matthew Hopkins, the witch trials?
All right.
Yeah, I think he is.
So because he was really active.
Witchfinder General.
Yeah, Matthew Hopkins.
He was Witchfinder General. He was very active. Cambridge, Suffolk, border into Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, and Essex. And I think the concentration actually was on the border countries. There's something about border countries that is very weird. You know, the borders between Cambridgeshire and Suffolk, and Cambridgeshire and Essex, and Suffolk and Norfolk. But there's quite a few little pamphlets, and I actually have one of a witch trial that happened at Ely as well. So they were basically persecuting old women, wise women, and outcasts, people that lived on their own, that suspicion aroused from I can't find my words.
We haven't ever had an arousal on the show, have we, Adrian?
There was an arousal within Hopkins in terms of the people must be following the faith of the Bible, and it was a plain faith, and God's word was everything. And these people that were perhaps healing, perhaps doing midwifery, perhaps just lonely people, they might be mentally disturbed people, but they were picked upon from society. We had years of there'd been persecution of witches, Jews all over Europe. That eventually made its way here, and there became a kind of a fervor. People were blaming other people for anything bad that happened to them must be witchcraft. So, I mean, we have, if you think about it, you know, a lot of the things that we find in the fields, we're finding social history. You know, a lot of social history is connected with spiritual beliefs. It's connected with how people used to live their lives by superstition. If you think about, you're finding anything with a Saxon zoomorphic motif on it. If you think about anything that is even slightly engraved with a pattern or design that could have some meaning, that's about people's own spirituality and their belief systems. Well, when you got to the 17th century, your belief system had to be Christianity. They were trying to root out paganism. They were trying to root out any kind of old practices. And we're talking about, you know, what Cromwell instilled in us. And here in Cambridgeshire, we lost pretty much all of our folklore, all of our tales, all of our legends were wiped out. You know, on the peripheries, places like Norfolk, places like Cornwall, Devon, and you go to the west, kept a lot of their traditions. But Cromwell banned Christmas, he banned maypole dancing, he banned any kind of fun and festival in favour of Christian festivals. Now, a lot of the Christian festivals are actually based on original pagan festivals. And Dave will agree, you know, nearly every single Christian festival has a parallel pagan festival that is celebrated at exactly the same time, or around about the same time. And it's because the church had to align with the time that people naturally celebrated their rituals and just, so if you're talking about harvest time, if you're talking about the moon festival, Lugnasa, and you're talking about it's the same really as harvest festival. And that's what the church made of it, that it is the end of the growing year. So when you get to the witch trials, you're talking about this whole religious fervor, but also we had bad seasons, we had bad weather, crops were failing, grain that was stored went rotted, people couldn't feed themselves. There is a thing called ergot, which they think was involved in the Salem witch trials, where people had gone absolutely mad because they were eating grain that had mildew on it, and they think that could be responsible for some of the cases here. But more or less it was like, well, my milk turned sour, it must have been that old woman up the road, it's her. And so the witchfinder went out, and they were seeking people out, and people didn't want it to be them, so they blamed somebody else, somebody who was an outsider who didn't really mean anything. Or somebody would mention that lady there, she helped to perform a miracle. She cured a man of a disease, which all she did was apply some herbal medicine, but she cured him. Well, only God can cure the sick. So therefore she's persecuted as a witch. And that's what this was all about. But it was total madness. It went on for a very short period of time, but it was total madness. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, totally agree.
I think you know your stuff on there. I'm just worried that people are tuning in thinking it's Derek Akora's wife. We are here to talk about metal detecting, but it's all related, everyone. It's history, and it's stuff we find in the field. And on that note, the chicken's foot I found a couple of years ago, Donna, that's a prime example, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's something that you were like, oh, I don't know if I want it. But I mean, it's probably a talisman for casting spells, but it's used in casting. It doesn't necessarily make it evil. I mean, one thing that I notice is that a lot of these things that we find are cast in lead. And there seems to be Gordon Bailey, actually. I don't know if anyone's got Gordon Bailey's tokens book, but he wrote very interesting article in Treasure Hunting magazine about lead tokens as well, I think, a long time ago.
He's done one this month.
Well, he was talking about the fact that, what actually is a lead token for? What is a lead token? What does it do? I found quite a lot, and I've done quite a bit of research about it, but it seems to me they can be for all kinds of things. But it's this business of casting in lead. Now, for one, it's malleable, it's low firing temperature, it's very cheap to produce. You can turn one thing into another thing very quickly and easily. But, we find these tokens with all kinds of things on it, and amulets and talismans, like Adrian's chicken's foot. Have you got it there, Adrian? You had a great picture of it that you sent to me. Your chicken's foot.
I don't know where it's gone. I think I hid it because I was scared of it. I can show a picture.
Yeah, show a picture. But it's quite a detailed. It's a cockle's foot really, because it's got a spur on it. But these were used in casting spells, and if Matt's in the chat, he will agree. Why yours was buried, I couldn't say, but it may be to seal a spell, and generally they're used as protective charms. And a lot of these things I find are almost like, I found a group in a field over several years. I found lead tokens of different meanings in more or less the same place in one particular field at the top of this field. So if you're overlooking the Suffolk countryside, you're at the top of the hill, and in this one particular place, which isn't even the modern day field entrance, but maybe it was at one time. And we've all heard that people placed ampullas of holy water, pilgrims' ampullas, when they went on a pilgrimage. They took holy water and they placed that in a field to help the crop. Well, it's almost like, I think people believed in these field gods, that they would answer their prayers. It was a place where and I don't believe in ritual. I think people had better things to do. People were busy people. But I just found there's a couple of instances where I found it very unusual, where there have been lead tokens placed where they may well have had meaning. And this particular place, there have been tutalis or tokens. There have been ones that relate to the Burwell fire, all in the same place. And there was also, Dave will know what this is, a hexifoil, a token with a hexifoil on it. Oh. So if anyone's ever seen the Mystic Charm, which is like interlaced petals, that's a hexifoil. And that's very strongly a protective symbol. So if you see somebody wearing a hexifoil, it is to protect them from anything bad or evil. But buried all in this same place, it's almost like this little farming community had just put them in the same place and hoped that the gods would read their message.
That is very interesting. I
It
will
is.
show you my
Show me your
chicken's
thing.
foot.
And then I'm going to tell the tale from Nick West from his visit
like
to
the story.
France some years ago, which is my favourite tale.
Yes. I'm having trouble finding my foot.
It's on the end of your leg, mate.
No, I've got it. I've got it now. It's just I've only found one picture, but hopefully that will show. Right, here we go. Let's share. This is my foot.
Incredible photo as well.
Beautiful, that.
Yeah, incredible photo.
I'd really love to have found that.
Well, you'll see on the. Can I zoom in? There's detail, minute detail on each foot. It's got a lot of detail on it.
I'd have drilled a hole in that and had it on a leather thing.
But that is what is odd about it, though, Dave. That it doesn't have a hanging point on it. Doesn't have a loophole.
Well, it might have done at some point.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, the flow was very, very interested in it.
Yeah.
And she sent it away to all. I sent it all round to people who specialise in it, and they all came back. Some people said it was part of a foot of a tankard. No. But she said it was. There isn't one. I think if you go on the Paz website, it's the only one of its kind on there.
Yeah.
So,
and it'd be really unusual. I mean, it would be something that the witches would cast with. They wouldn't necessarily bury. So whatever that was buried for, it was meant. It was a strong thing. It was to bring that thing true or to pass, to happen.
Nick West said he once found an SS Death's Head ring. He had such bad luck after finding it, he ended up reburying it.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing, you know, who in the chat has really had that feeling where what they found is bad. I mean, you thought your chicken's foot was bad until I told you it was good.
Yeah. Although my dad died just after I found it, but probably wasn't related.
No, probably not.
I did crash my car as well.
Well, it's like Toby Jones in The Detectorist, isn't it? He finds the gold and then doesn't have any luck, so he ends up reburying some gold.
Yeah. I know a couple of people who've done exactly the same. Where I mean, what do you do when you find something really good? What do you do?
Wouldn't have a clue. I haven't found anything really good.
Do you thank the field?
I thank the Lord Jesus because we're all God's children.
I thank the field.
I sent you a good video of that the other day, didn't I?
They did. That was epic.
Keith Ellis asked, the year I used to do ghost hunting, did I ever have a knee trembling moment, properly scary, could not explain? No, I've never been scared. I'm more scared of the living than the dead. However, we did have an instance on one investigation when it's all documented at a hotel in Uttoxeter. We had the TV crew with us, and it was not made for TV in any way, shape, or form. We had the keys to all the rooms. We had a video camera in a certain room because we were told that blood appears on the shower curtain. Obviously, that was all checked before we even started it. The video camera was zoomed constantly, and this was like early 2000s. The camera was constantly on the curtain. We went away, we had lunch, we came back, carried on the investigation, and somebody noticed on the CCTV monitor that there were some differences on the curtain. So we stopped the entire investigation, went in, several of us, obviously, so we could keep an eye on each other, video camera, blah, blah, blah. And there was blood on the shower curtain. So we took it away to be analysed. Obviously, we can't spend lots of money on analysis because we don't have lots of money for analysis, but we were able to identify that it was definitely blood, and it was in an arterial splatter pattern. And we are in no way, shape, or form able to explain that. we had identical shower curtains from the same batch to test, and there was blood on a shower curtain, as we were told happens in that particular room. So, and I've experienced several other things where odd things have occurred, but I've never seen anything of consequence visually.
Have you heard anything?
I've had audible occurrences, yeah. But no.
What is an example of something that you've got? Now that is, there's no one here that could have made that noise. That is
doors banging when there's no doors that were open.
Right, so everything's shut and then the door bangs.
Yeah, things like that. Audible occurrences. And to me, that sort of backs up my theory that a lot of the things that we are witnessing are just recordings of the past.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. I mean, I believe that about definitely about this house. I know that we live with the past in this house. You know, it's on the 1656 map. So, you know, part of this house, the sort of the middle bit that I'm sitting in is part of the older house. And the kitchen that I'm looking at there's behind the computer is a very long, thin room, and it would have been like a galleried house with two big ranges. And it always has to be a certain time of day, which is morning. The light, so the sunlight is very bright. And the first time I heard these footsteps, I went belting up the stairs because like somebody's upstairs, there was nobody there. And as I came down, I thought, but we've got carpet. And they were heavy boots on floorboards footsteps, which was very strange. But my kitchen is 23 foot long. And they went from one end of the kitchen down to the other end of the kitchen and disappeared round a corner that doesn't exist anymore. It's in a building that was pulled down a long time ago. And the next time I heard it, exactly the same time, it's like, well, okay, I'll listen. And my bathroom door and my office door are offset. And it didn't offset. It kind of went straight through. It's fine. And every other time I've heard it, it's like, well, that's the thing again. So Stuart didn't hear it, hasn't heard it, didn't believe it, until he went running upstairs a few weeks ago and went, oh, the thing you said, that happened to me. It's definitely here. But we've got a musical box. We have smells of pipe tobacco. It's all kinds of strange things that, you know, there
interestingly, that same location, we got to we keep people apart from each other, and we keep the information apart, or kept the information away from each other. And there was an instance where a smell, we knew there was a smell. Nobody could actually tell other people what the smell was, but I smelt a smell. And somebody said to me, "You smelt it, haven't you?" I went, "Yeah." "What was it?" I said, "Play-Doh." And everybody else had smelt the smell of Play-Doh. And it occurred in a complete, it's what we used to call, Steve, if he's still in the thing, he'll forgive me if I got it wrong because it's been a while. Column effect. There you go. So it's a complete column throughout the building from top to bottom that this smell was.
That's Semtex, isn't it? Play-Doh smell?
No, not at all. There was only, as well as Play-Doh, there was two other things that we found through research that were exactly the same smell as Play-Doh. And I mean exactly the same smell. The first was a 1970s Play-Doh aftershave, and the other one was a crushed South American beetle. So, and
the other one is Christian Dior.
This poison. Was early noughties.
Hypnotic poison smells of Play-Doh as well. It costs about 140 quid a bottle, and it smells of Play-Doh.
Well, you just go and get some Play-Doh and roll it on your face. Nick West's tale, which I absolutely love. Nick, firstly, sorry. John Clayton asked about if there's anybody out seen a dinosaur ghost.
They're extinct. Of course not.
Two theories there. The first theory is that is the Loch Ness Monster a ghost of a dinosaur?
Oh.
And the second theory is, how long does a battery take to run out? Will the battery still be running from that era? So potentially
but
not.
Also, what kind of stone did you have? Because the land mass has either been eroded that the dinosaurs were on, or they have been encased within it. So you don't have that reflection of recorded time. So what we're talking about, if people
A
don't
prime
get-
example of what Donna's trying to say is in York, there is a cellar where there's people walk through it head height, Roman Legion walk through it, only at head height because the ground has moved so much.
I lived in a house in Ipswich when I was an art student, and I mean, they had the creepiest landing with a huge grandfather clock on it, and I hated the feel of that landing. I'd get up to the second floor, and then I'd belt up to the attic where me and my flatmate lived, and I wouldn't go down at night. Even if I badly needed to pee, I would not go down at night. That's the one. And I was actually told a couple of months before I left that the reason why it did feel odd was because it was on alignment with the old Roman wall of Ipswich, and centurions used to literally march at waist height through the landing. So it was exactly on alignment. So the wall would have been high, and they would be walking along the battlements or whatever they walked along. So
there you go. Anyway, Nick West's tale. Love it.
Yes, please.
Nick went over to France, and they were going metal detecting, but the location in, I believe it was the Ardennes forest, was quite a distance away. So Nick and his pal, with the tent, etc., jollied off into the woods, walked to the location that they were going to be detecting, pitched up the tent, and spent the evening doing whatever. Went to sleep, and Nick and his mate were woken up in the early hours of the morning by what they thought was loggers going into camp, and it turned out there was nobody there. A bit kerfuffled, they went back to the local town, went into the pub, a bit like, and basically what a local said, you've seen the SS Legion, the SS platoon, haven't you? You've heard the SS platoon. And it was a well-known fact that this particular place in the Ardennes forest had this audible phenomena going on where they heard the SS Legion passing through. Wow. So there's Nick's tale, and I'll absolutely love that tale.
Yeah, and there's not anything. I bet even now when he tells it, and I've heard him tell it at RCM, the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. It's not, for anyone who is slightly skeptical or even wholly skeptical, all you've got to do is hear somebody like that, who Nick's quite a serious bloke, to tell the tale. You're not going to have, they're tough guys that he hangs out with. Then they're not going to start making crap up, and especially if it's, I think the most convincing thing is if it is a shared experience when several people hear the same thing at the same time. What about you, Adrian? Have you ever had anything like that happen to you? Hello?
Tell us then. You're muted still.
That's because I keep coughing.
You're muted again.
No, I'm not. Yes, I. When I was about 9, my neighbour had a new bathroom fitted, and he was like, "Oh, it's a really nice bathroom. We've got a shower and everything." And he said, "Oh, I've run a bath." And he called me up. His wife wasn't in. And no, that was another story.
This is the second bath thought. Oh, right.
He's obsessed.
Yes. Me and my mate James, he's in the chat, even though he nearly died this week. That's another story.
Yeah. James.
He borrowed my car because his is blown up, and someone tried to nick the wheels off it. And James drove it to my house and said it's making a really bad noise and it can't go over 30 miles an hour and it goes funny round corners. And when he pulled up on outside my house, one of the wheel nuts fell off and the wheel was like that. But anyway, I did laugh.
We've done it on a motorcycle. Same thing.
I've got such a bad cough I can't talk.
Sorry, Nick's experience was Belgium, not France.
Belgium.
Me and James have got permission, very old land, and there used to be a detectorist there, and he died, and we've since heard things and felt someone tap us on the shoulder and stuff like that. So I'm a strong believer. I don't know like anyone about ghosts, but we run on electricity as humans.
Yeah.
We run on electricity, and when we die, that electricity goes somewhere.
Yeah.
And I
Happy
personally
Halloween,
think
Chris.
it might get cremated, or it might go in the ground, but it might stay in the atmosphere or whatever. If I had to make a machine that did all what I'm doing, it uses a lot of battery power. No, it uses a lot of battery power.
Yeah, but you look how long they've been trying to make robots efficient, and they're still not going to do it. You know, the technology that goes into it, the electricity that powers every single nerve.
The only one I've seen is that latex mannequin you've got, Dave. I mean, that is sort of semi-electric, but not fully electric. He took it to Rodney Cook. But yeah, I'm just talking quickly. We've got Adrian's wall that we're not going to fit in tonight, and we've also got loads of pictures.
Got to put Adrian's wall on.
Yeah, do that. I'll stop talking.
See, I told you to be able to stop her talking, Adrian.
Adrian's wall's quite a good one tonight.
It's a very good one. Nick West telling Adrian to tell the RCM story. I think he knows what that one is.
I will. I sent it to Dave. Dave, do you want to play the intro?
I can do that.
No, so let's cut time, shall we? Or
no, craft the intro.
Oh.
Just got to find the intro. What's it called? Ah, there it is.
Right, let's rock and roll. Let's not hang about because we've
got it. You're in charge of the numbers. Everybody else, don't be picking your numbers tonight. Come with your guesses.
Right, 27. Or should I do it as Lady Martin? 27. 21. 7. Number 3. Number 31. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah. You're making an X. It's not
number 18.
It's not a purse bar.
Number 18. Number 16. Number 14. Number 12.
It's not a medieval strap mount.
Number 5.
It's not a bull ring.
Number 28.
It's not balance scales. It's
Number
not a pocket
30.
watch. It's not Steve.
Number 23.
It's related to tonight.
It's not
number 19.
No, 19.
It's not a seal matrix.
Remember the
number
wall.
2.
It's not a tobacco jar. It's not a seal.
Oh, number 4.
It's not a ring bezel. It's not a cauldron. It's not
number
an ashes burn.
22.
It's not Viking gaming.
Number 20. Number 29. Are the bits at the bottom associated?
Oh, bloody hell.
What?
A candlestick or a warmer. Adrian's just spoilt it. It is
no one saw it.
No one saw it. It's quick. Number 6.
Someone's rewinding it now and pausing it.
Are they? It looks
not
like
a jigsaw puzzle, a warmer, a candlestick.
Obviously, number 13. And that's centimeters, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can see it's something, and it's not metal.
And those who don't believe in things we're talking about tonight will probably be a little bit shocked that this is.
I know what it is.
This is registered.
Matt Kent's got it.
Yeah, he knows what it is.
Knew Matt Kent to get there.
I would, as soon as I knew, I would have put money on it.
Post-medieval glass witch bottle and contents.
Yeah.
The glass bottle has a wide flat base with a twisted and fluted narrow neck, which is broken around the rim. This size and form of the base neck indicates that the vessel was originally an inkwell or a small ornamental candle holder, the former being more likely. Blah, blah, blah. Inside the vessel was found a small number of corroded iron and copper alloy objects and a single strip of leather. The leather is a strap and has 4 holes along its length. It is possible the strip of leather originally bound the iron and bronze objects together, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's on the PAS website if you type in witch, and it's a witch's bottle with a spell in it and a potion or something, which is quite cool, I thought.
They date to that kind of similar period we were talking about before. They're protective, basically.
Yeah. Does
it say where that one was found buried or not in terms of the house, the building?
What have I done? No, it doesn't actually. It's quite interesting.
They used to bury them underneath the front doorstep. Sometimes they find them in hearths, sort of up in chimneys, but they used to normally bury them underneath the front doorstep, and it would prevent a witch from entering your house.
The fact this fine spot was underneath a still existent building, which lay 130 metres east of the village Methodist chapel, and is likely to represent the survival of an amuletic tradition or practice. Blah blah blah. Oh, it's interesting.
I'm not being ignorant. I'm trying to find images on my phone that seem to have disappeared. Do you remember, Adrian? A couple of years ago, somebody found a load of lead objects, and there was like a skull and that in it. Do you remember? And we weren't able to quite suss it out. We had an idea, and I can't remember where. I wonder if they're on my computer.
Oh, Stephen Brame's in the chat. He found a wonderful lead object.
Going to round
Did Stephen get an ID for that? The lead thing he found on the beach.
I don't know.
Stephen, if you're in the chat, did you get an ID for your lead kind of skull thing? Because I'd be interested in what it is.
Shall I present the things we got sent this week?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That's stunning. Oh.
What is it, Donna?
That's a brooch. It's part of a brooch. You can't say the word, can you?
Yeah,
no. It looks like a sort of. I mean, I don't think we get that type around here. It looks more like a sort of a stud head. That is so interesting. I don't know if Stephen's had that ID'd yet, but that is. If you look at it, it looks like happy face, sad face, and everyone will go, "Oh, it's a theatrical mask," but it's actually a Janus charm. And actually, there are very few on the PAS database. I only know about these because I looked at one for somebody else before, which was a finial in the shape of a monkey, and it had a happy monkey and a sad monkey on either side. And Janus was the symbol of. He was the god Janus, but it was symbolic of the new year, new beginnings, and the whole theatrical thing comes about probably from Greek theatre, where and so it begins and so shall it end. A theatrical play went on for several hours, and it would take you on a journey in the same way that entering the new year takes you on a journey that you don't know the outcome of, and it could be happy or sad, but it's the duality of life, basically.
Well done, Stephen Brame, on that.
I've actually got a book somewhere called The Mark of Janus.
There you go.
That's
the thing I couldn't see.
Ian Brady.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Got that book somewhere.
That is, I mean, I'm sure I'd love to see the back of it. What's the back like? I was going to say, I mean, it's obviously a mount of some description, but it's quite curious, isn't it? I'm not seeing any unless it's come off a piece of furniture, in which case it could potentially be a little bit of kind of bacchanalian. But yeah, that's really interesting. I quite like that. It looks a little bit like medieval church ornamentation. Has Matt got any thoughts on that?
What's that all about?
You've got the land of the beast in front of you. Has anyone ever seen the beast? You know, we're out in the fields quite a lot on our own.
The Archie maps. This is their logo.
Yeah. But has anyone ever seen the black dog?
Well, a bit careful what I say here, but no.
Yeah, I mean, around here, sightings are sort of fairly common. Actually, up in Suffolk, where in Bungay, they have a Black Dog Festival now once a year in August. And that was the church where the people were terrified by a black beast. And several people fainted and became ill as this black sort of shuck, as they call it, ran through the church, and apparently its claw marks can still be seen on the door to this day. And people said, oh, well, you know, when people look at it now, it must have been a bear. But of course, there was bear dancing in those days, and people knew what bears actually looked like. But I had a farmer. I mean, every farmer that I meet, I'd say, you know, have you ever seen the beast on your land? Because it is a common thing around here, and several people have seen various different things. And this one particular farmer said to me, absolutely not. You know, it's something that old farmers basically told people to keep off their land. You know, it's a tale. So we've got this beast around, be careful. And, you know, they wouldn't go on their land. And I was out. I mean, I was 2.5 miles into the fen on my own, detecting the bank of a ditch where an iron-age spear had been found. And it's sort of looking across from that angle, actually. If you look far on the horizon, I was out there somewhere on my own, that kind of evening. So summer night, it was getting sort of duskish. And all of a sudden, well, it wasn't quite dusk, but all of a sudden, everything was quiet. Like, and when you're a country person, you know that as soon as the birds go still, there's something about. And obviously, I was detecting this ditch where it had been slubbed out, and I could see the reeds. And I suddenly realised that I was very far from anyone. I was 2.5 miles from the farm. 2 miles across the other way, I could see houses, but I couldn't get to them. And I realised that the farmer, who I had actually talked to about the beast being the myth of farmers, he'd come to me about a couple of months after he told me that it was a load of rubbish, and couldn't even utter the word, and said, Donna, you know the thing that you said, well, it does exist because I've seen it. And he had actually seen this thing. That thing was weaving through the ditch. I could see the reeds moving towards me, and I didn't really know what to do, but I really realised I was in danger. I'd got my hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. I think my hairs on my head were standing up. And you know, when you think, well, you know, how am I going to get out of the situation? It's a cat. It's basically a giant cat. What do cats do? And they do that weird slow walk thing. So I knew if I tried to run and there was this big beast, this farmer, because it was on his land, reckoned it was like a panther. And he reckoned it could clear a couple of fields in the blink of an eye. And I heard it, I turned my back on it and I could hear it coming out of the ditch. And I literally walked as slowly as I could. I had to walk down the ditch bank, across this field, and the field was about half a mile wide. And I could hear the corn crunching as I went along. And I think I got halfway into the field before I realised there was nothing following me. And God, I ran. I never went back there. I never did know if there were any more iron-age spears in the field.
Interesting. This week I watched Charlie Cooper. Those who watched This Country, fantastic comedy program, mockumentary. Charlie Cooper, who's Curtin Mucklow on it, has got a series about historic myths of Britain and stuff. I think it's on BBC Three or it's on iPlayer. It's called Myth Country, and he actually does an article, part of the program this week, about the Black Shook or whatever. And he goes to the church, and you're right, it's very commonly cited in the village. Yeah. And also on that series, towards the end, they've got metal detecting and he goes out of a metal detector. And who's he bump into? Alan Tamblyn, head of MCMD. And Alan Tamblin's on there. So check out Myth Country. Thanks for that, Donna.
Yeah.
Just an
so
old
these
stone.
are the tokens that I was talking about earlier. So that's a tuteless token, or tot token as we abbreviate it to. Now that is interesting because there's two different tokens here. That's the tot token. That's the reverse of it, which is a heart, which is sort of emblematic of the heart of Jesus. So you've got on the one side pagan, on the other side you have this heart, and you can see it's a couple of lines going into it. And then there is another token, I think, with that. So that's the T shape, and then you've got the heart shape. The heart emblem is about the love or the blood of Christ, and this token was found in almost exactly the same place. But this particular flaming heart really reminded me of something that I'd actually seen before. And when I suddenly realised what it reminded me of, it does. It's the Christian symbolism, again, the duality, the Christian symbolism of the heart, the love, the passion of Christ and what he gave. And then also this is about commiseration and empathy. And then on the other side, where you've got these kind of windmills or flowers, that's a pagan symbol for rebirth. And I thought it was very weird because I'd seen this heart somewhere before, and I sent you another picture, I think, on a different message, Adrian, which was a flaming heart print. So that one there. And that is actually in Burwell Churchyard, so a few miles from where I am, not very far as the crow flies. And that is it was put in the churchyard as a symbol of the Great Fire of Burwell in 1727, where there was a mummers' play, came to a local barn, the Travelling Light Theatre, and about 140, 50 people crammed into this old wooden barn to see this show. And the doors had to be shut to stop other people going in so that they'd run out of room. And a little lad climbed into the rafters because he wanted to see the show, and he dropped his lantern. And the people were all sitting on dry bales of hay. Well, when they stopped people coming in, they barricaded the door. So the barn was on fire and it was dry like tinder. All these people were blocked in. They say that the people who escaped had to crawl over the dead people to get out of the door. It was a chap from Soham, a chap called Thomas Dobeed, who actually got the doors open in the end. Apparently it's the size of a house. But they found no remains. They basically it was completely and utterly destroyed. And only a few people actually survived it. And they're commemorated with the flaming heart. But the fact that this is sort of reasonably close and on the highest point just makes me wonder whether or not the people placing these here, because it's around the right time period for those kind of tokens, whether or not they're actually thinking about this. I mean, the one with the windmills on the back is very unusual. I've not found another example. I'd love to know if anyone else has found another example of that. So I mean, going back to the Gordon Bailey thing, I think some of these tokens are emblematic. This is a Boy Bishop token. Now, lead also, I know that they're quite rare to find. This isn't my best one. But one of the reasons why I said that people put, lead back in the ground. So Boy Bishop tokens were religious. They come from the festival between the 6th of December and the 28th of December that goes back to the time of Edward I, where a boy from the choir would overtake the duties of the bishop and perform the duties of the bishop throughout the Christmas period. And he was allowed to give out tokens, and this probably dated from about the 14th century, but he was allowed to give out tokens to the poor that could be exchanged for goods. But I have a site that I know to have been a pagan site, a burial site, and so far oddly, and they're very, they were only manufactured, as far as we know, in Ely, Bury St Edmunds, and Ipswich. I have found 5 of these tokens in that particular Iron Age burial field. And it makes me wonder if people were visiting it to try and bring some Christianity or to make it safe to pass through. I don't know, but I just think it's a very odd thing to find 5 of in one field, unless they're put there deliberately.
It's interesting talking about tokens. Gordon Bailey, who's written 7 books, on identifying detector finds. He this month's treasure hunting magazine, which is out next week, I think, there is a bit in there about his lead tokens, and he's going to Julian Evanhart's find surgery next Wednesday, hopefully, and I'm going to have a chat with him about them because he's like been detecting 60 odd years. There's a lot of interest there. There's a horse and a detector, but
what have you got? What? Is he being stalked?
Yeah, some.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, there's either a double exposure or there's somebody in the background. Can everyone see it?
It was taken on a digital camera.
It looks like Sir Stuart's mum.
Yeah, an old lady. Well, I don't know if they got a hat on.
Yeah, they have. Pointy hat. It almost looks like a 12th century.
Looks like one of them women off the piers at Blackpool and blag everyone's head for money.
from Fairy Tale Castle. What's the horse's name?
Keith.
Keith or Dave.
That's my middle name.
We've got 3 minutes. Let's be quick.
Oh, that's the other Janus charm. So that's the monkey, either side of the monkey. That's creepy. Who put that up? The head.
That was a eyes only found by Jelly Morgan.
What, the head?
The creepy head, yeah.
Yeah. So what Adrian's showing you now is the other Janus charm, and yes, that. If I found that jelly, I would be burying it again.
That'd be ace if there was like worms coming out the aisles.
I'm gonna give you the creeps, porcelain dolls. That's I
reckon that's
Is it? Yeah, it looks a bit. Well, I don't know. It could be probably porcelain because it's got a chip on its nose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
At least it's not on his shoulder.
Yeah, they are creepy things. Right. But if anyone else has got ghost stories, leave a message. We've had a message from Jim. We've had a message from Steve. Leave jolly messages. I'm sure Lady Martin will be out in the fields shortly and finding all kinds of nonsense going on. About to embark on the winter season of getting muddy and undressed in front of the washing machine.
Do you know I got sent this week? Which people?
What? What's that? You've got some.
Only tremendous.
You've got some.
Goes on the back of the Manticore, Dave.
Yeah, I've got 2. I've got 2, and they're absolutely brilliant.
I got that big 18-inch Mythtech coil for the Manticore.
Cool, I bet that pulls some power down.
Well, I haven't noticed much that it's fully charged because it's got a little light on it.
How long will your standard battery use without your power boost?
6.5, 7 hours.
Yeah.
So ideal if for a day, in theory.
Yeah. Merlin, come on.
But if you're going to a rally or a weekender, one of those. But I got that from Crawford's.
Yeah, that's where I got mine. Bob on.
Yeah. So I'm going to test it against the coil.
To be fair, Adrian, I think they'd work on any metal detector.
Yeah, it would.
As long as you've got the power. That fits within that clip zone. Yeah.
But the thing I like about this is with the 28-inch coil, there's a little bit more balance on the back. God dear. Dying of a death here.
I want Merlin to see you.
All right, Merlin. Can't see it.
John Clayton sent Adrian a message. John, did you send it on WhatsApp or email? Because if it's on Book of Faces, I'll have to find out how to get into that.
Well, hasn't that gone quick?
Yes.
Well, I hope it's been enjoyable.
Yes.
Certainly
I
has.
do.
Although I'm really aggrieved that I can't find them pictures anywhere because you would absolutely love them, Donna.
Send me them, but also you can have
find
a little
them first.
interlude in one of your other shows. I mean, you can have a mystic corner or a Dave's paranormal corner.
No.
But it would be nice to hear what other people, given what we've been talking about, what other people's views are, even if it is, it was total pants, or whether or not they will come forward and admit to having strange experiences. That would be
actually
good.
Rob Random found the nails on Jesus' cross.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. I think he should go into production, to be fair. I think
you can also leave us a voicemail and even if it's a detective confession, leave a message because we absolutely love listening to them in the middle of the week, don't we, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah. Sorry, when Matt Kent, when Zoe moved to my village, Willow was asking someone in her room and said his name was Peter and that he had died when an American plane crashed. Oh my God, that freaked me out.
And when Zoe asked the local farmer, he confirmed it.
Yeah. My daughter did exactly the same when we moved in here. She was nearly 4, just about to be 4. And I said, so Steph, like you would to like a nearly 4-year-old child, Steph, how do you like your new house? And she said, I really like it, Mummy, but I don't like it when that old man sits on the end of my bed and talks to me.
My daughter, we've got, do you remember the other week, Adrian, there's a tree in my bedroom, my daughter's old bedroom, a painted tree. And she always used to say when she was little that Big Grandad, that was a great granddad who died when she was very little, Big Grandad used to come out of the tree and read a story to her.
Yeah, and you see, kids have a sense for that kind of thing. I mean, my Steph is just other, and she's had loads of strange experiences. We'll talk about that at rally sometime. She's had the oddest experiences, but some people are just more perceptive. I mean, we definitely have something that runs in the family, as you can see. It's called
Andrew T could have left us some great messages this week. He owned a haunted inn in Cornwall. He's lots of stories.
Oh, Andrew, come on. You're letting the sides down.
Derek Sherwin, thank you very much. Great show tonight. Different, informative and fun. More like this, please.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, apart from obviously Adrian dressing up in his
Adrian's not very well. He's got a hot water bottle underneath his cape. He's had his head over a steamer full of Olbersoil, he tells me, for half the day. And he's looking forward to bedtime. And
he's had no alcohol.
Oh, recommend brandy for this time. Tea with brandy.
No, I've only been drinking water.
So, on that note, it is time to say good night. We haven't got any guests lined up as yet. I've been a bit busy doing other stuff. So I've got one in the I need to respond to who's asked to come on the show. But as yet, no other guests lined up at the moment. So if you do want to come on the show, give us a shout. We'd be more than happy to have you.
We should have Nick on talking about France and Germany because he must have some tales from his latest trips.
Absolutely. So anybody, as I say, anyone else, give us a shout. We will book you in, no problem. I've got some other people to contact. I've just been absolutely maniacal since August, aren't we, Adrian?
Yes, dear.
So thank you, Donna, for joining us.
My pleasure as always. And don't forget, visit ArcMD magazine.
arcmdmag.com. Don't forget that. Lots of stuff on there. Other articles coming up. I'll be spending the weekend on that, but there are some stuff that's scheduled to come out already. And I've just published the article that we spoke about earlier with the occult talisman. So you'll be able to read that. And I've edited the crap out of it as well. So,
awesome.
Thank you all.
McStraw. Just a quick question.
McStraw.
Adrian McStraw. What is Adrian dressed up as? Brian Cant from Playaway.
Yeah, with the cold, hence the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought you had a nosebleed. I'm so sad.
Sorry, Dave.
Love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Do lots of nice things.
And enjoy your Halloween.
And by the time we see you next week, you'd have had bonfire night and Shane will be married.
Yeah.
Good luck, Shane. Have a fabulous day and hope your speech goes all right, David.
Yes, I must send him a telegram.
We need video proof.
Take care, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for wishing me get well.